G'day guys, welcome back to the show for men. Bit of a different one today. I came across this comedy skit from a channel called Honest Ads, and it's talking about why marriage is a scam, and it's more or less all the costs involved that we as men or our families generally have to pay for the pleasure of getting married. I thought this was very interesting. So the original video is in the video description. Let's just jump straight in and have a laugh at it.
There's no truer expression of love than a fancy wedding. Or at least that's what I and my peers have convinced you for financial reasons that will soon become clear if they aren't already.
Sorry, are we paying for this time?
All right, let's talk about it. Now, that's a really... this is something I'm actually quite firm on. Something that I've just never understood why people spend so much money on weddings. And it's, look, there might be some guys out there who think that, they're really showing off and all that sort of stuff by giving the woman her perfect day and spending all this money on something that is over in a day and that you have a distant memory of. And some people spend $100,000 on it. I think the average wedding expense is over $50,000 here in Australia now. When I got married well over 10 years ago, I think it cost me about $45,000, and I was trying to do things on the cheap. I was trying. So 45, that's probably about 70 grand now, 75 grand. So it's a huge financial hit that men and couples take. I'm not saying the man explicitly pays for it, but generally the woman, if she wants it to, she'll want to put money in. They want to use your joint account balance, all that sort of stuff, to pay for things that you don't need, to celebrate a day in people that most of you don't care if they're there or not. They're the people from your work, extended friendship groups, relatives you haven't seen in years. Like, who gives a stuff if they're there or not? It's a pompous ceremony that generally half the time is going to be a huge waste of money anyway because of the amount of people who get divorced.
Long ago, marriage was strategic, a way to legally bind two families or to increase one family's land holdings. Today, very few issues can be settled by robbing your children of their right to choose a lover. However, people like me still wanted to make money, so we built an industry around the idea that you should legally bind yourself to the person with whom you most enjoy having sex.
No, it's not even be the most enjoying having sex. It might be guys. A lot of guys get married because it's hard to even get a girlfriend, let alone get a woman to want to potentially marry you. And so they think there's never another woman's never coming. And so that's why a lot of guys get married. My mate Larry, he lives in a lot of scarcity, and he always does things that he doesn't really want to do with women because he thinks if he doesn't go along with it or do it, they're going to leave him, which is probably true. They will, but he knows he has to keep delivering and doing things against his will. When I'm talking about maybe not getting married, but going out and spending money on dates. He doesn't even know them. He doesn't even know these chicks. He's been speaking to them on the phone during the week. He's met them off a dating app. And he goes and takes them out for dinners and out to comedy shows. And he did a bed and breakfast with one, spent hundreds of dollars. Now, Larry doesn't have heaps of money. He's not poor, but he's your average punter. He's going through a divorce and paying child support. He doesn't have money for this stuff, but he goes and blows it because he's scarce. And that's why guys get married. And that's why I use Larry as an example and all this stuff, because he does things. He's the average guy. He's the average plugged-in guy. And that's why I like to talk about what he gets up to. I don't do it to make fun of him. I just tell you guys, I know guys who do this stuff and don't learn. So guys get married because that's it. The woman's going to run off if she doesn't get what she wants. She doesn't get the ring. You don't marry her within the certain time allotment. She's gone. Yeah. So I can already tell you now that's a losing mentality, and you're going to end up divorced at some point anyway. Because you're with a woman who's pressuring you to more or less financially extract as much as possible from each other, from yourselves, even if she does contribute to for this stupid one day. Because women, this is an insight to what your future is going to be like if you're going to get a woman who really wants to have an ostentatious wedding. Something over the top. $5,000 wedding dress when you guys are just average punters. A winery wedding venue, $180 a head for food. Expensive flowers on every table. Live bands. The list goes on. Photographers for $5,000 or $7,000. It's almost it's not. It's a look at me day, and they don't care how much it costs to get it. It's not about the guy. The guy is a plus one to that day. You're a prop in the photos, so then they can put it up on Facebook and all that sort of thing. I know this sounds very cynical, but is the honest truth. It was my experience too. Like my wedding, I'll say the equivalent plays $70,000 today, or maybe 65,000. But don't worry about the numbers. It's a shitload of money, regardless, for something that didn't add any long-term value and was completely blown up in smoke in a day. Well, I had a really good time. I enjoyed it because I had some friends and stuff there I hadn't seen all in the one space at once. But the actual day itself, it felt like a complete chore to me. I was getting dragged from pillar to post for photos and posing with photos with people. And then the photographer did this huge photo shoot at the bridal party. And it was a hot day. It was like 32 degrees and we're out walking around this field and doing stupid poses. And it was completely painful, and I'm paying for it. Because I paid for my wedding, and my dad also helped me with a little bit of money as well. And so between me and Dad, we were out all that money for something that didn't last even more than a couple of years. So that's why I say to God, and she wanted everything, and I had to really try and manage it diplomatically. So if you're with a woman who's I want, I don't give a stuff how much it costs, or if you try and manage a budget on it and they're becoming very petulant, complaining like a teenager or a child, this is your future that you're going to have. Anyway, I'm ranting about weddings. But for me, biggest waste of money, you should be putting that money elsewhere. I'll live and learn. I never thought I was going to get anything out of it, but I wanted to marry that girl at the time. Like I did. For me, fine, that was worth it to me. But little did I know what was going to happen. But the biggest waste of money ever, guys. But unfortunately, men are... You're almost forced into it because, as this video is going to tell us, it's societal programming in the mind of women from when they're very young girls that this is what they should expect as a bare minimum. Even if you don't have the money or the means.
Or failing that, with whom you're most comfortable, or failing that, anyone you want for basically any reason, including immigration or tax concerns, provided it's not a family member. You don't have to, of course, but it would be weird and kind of pathetic if you don't. Your parents agree with us. And anyway, can you really put a price on love? Yes. Love costs on average $31,500.
Holy fucking shit!
Yeah, same question?
I told you we shouldn't have given a kosher option.
Save it for the vows. Is this a wedding or an informative short?
We honestly don't know.
Congratulations, you've met the love of your life. What better way to celebrate than by spending several paychecks on a party for so many friends, family members, and people you don't know, but who your parents insisted you invite, that you never speak with any of them for longer than 15 seconds. Society has agreed that it would be awkward if those in love didn't host a cripplingly expensive event at which your friends and family get to watch you kiss and have a chance to object if they want, preferably after the meal. In exchange, newlyweds receive money and/or presents from a pre-approved list of things you'll need to own to begin your life as dual.
It's consumerism at its finest, isn't it? It's I always thought that was really on the nose. People who have registries and they have expensive things put in there to milk money out of people. I understand people want to get some money back for putting the wedding on. If you can't afford it and you need to rely on getting expensive presents, I've seen people put TVs on their registry. I expect someone to pick that one up. What? Biggest waste of money, biggest rort, biggest psyop ever is the wedding. You get nothing out of it. People come and throw money around. It is just absolutely stupid for something that most men don't realise is going to be a negative experience for them. They're going to live a life that they didn't think they were going to be living. They're going to be trapped doing things they don't want to do legally with another woman for the rest of their life, unless she, in a lot of cases, will get rid of you at some point, discard you. So that's what you're paying. You're paying all this money to get nothing. You're paying all this money to go to jail. That's why I'm so firm about it. I've had people call me a tight ass and cheap and frugal. Sure, maybe call me those things because I don't waste money on rubbish. And I did this. I spent a lot of money myself on this. I'm telling you, worst financial decision I ever made. You could have. I have no problem in celebrating things if that's what you want to do and if people want to get married. I don't recommend it. 95% of women you'll ever meet are not even marriage material. It's not even worth it, especially in 2025. Maybe 30 years ago, even then it was basket case. But if you're going to do it, I can't see why people would turn their nose up at the idea of you go get married in a registry office. All right, it's only a few $100s I think you got to pay. They have a nice building there. You get married, you can get your photos taken in a nice building. There you go. There you probably save 20 grand right there and then. For the food, why can't you go to a restaurant, a nice restaurant, and let anyone have whatever they want and then cover the tab? Probably save you 25 grand. Why is wedding food so expensive? Why is wedding food $200 a head? What? Absolute rot. Everything has a inflation put on it. Everything has a markup put on it because I know people are emotional and I know generally women are going to want these things, and price is something that is not even a secondary consider. It's not even considered by them. It's just you have to do it or you're going to have a bridezilla. And I'm not saying all women are like that, and I know people are going to say me and my wife, we went and got married down at the park and we had sausages and hamburgers. That would be awesome. I would have loved that. Good on you if that happened. But that's most people, even if you come from lower means and you don't have the money to pay for these weddings, what do people do? They borrow money. They get personal loans for weddings. Or even if they don't do that, they spend whatever little money they may have or can scrap together on it. Pure programming. All right, look, probably halfway through my rant today, guys, and I'm just going off here. If you enjoy my content, please sub, like, comment, and let's keep this channel growing and get the growth going as to what the other channel was. I'm aiming for 10k subs over the next few months, so be a part of it. Get it out there. Alrighty.
Consumers. It's your little way of saying, buy those bowls we want, friend from college. In reality, your marriage is an open-air market facilitating the barter of appliances for booze and a meal. But make no mistake, no one's making money here, except, of course, those of us in the legal binding of people with vaguely religious undertones industry. Example, you're going to want music at your reception or everyone will be mad. And even though an iPod plugged into a speaker would be fine, we've convinced you that you need to spend over $1,000 for a stranger to plug in his iPod instead. This is human decency.
Absolute rot. And that is so... I've said this exact same thing. But people go and they get the band. And sure, if you've got the money to do it, good on you. I mean, it's a waste of money, but to spend on all these things and put yourself in financial hole or financially waste resources, thousands and thousands of dollars for live bands and stuff like that no one really listens to.
DJ Chaz. He doesn't have a degree in anything, and he'll play that song that orders the listeners to get louder, then softer, then louder again, and so on and so forth in that fashion. If you fail to retain his services, yours will be a cursed union. These are pleasant-smelling remains of murdered plant life.
Oh, don't even get me started on the flowers. That was something very interesting that I dealt with. Thousands of dollars on posies and roses put all over strategically around the room, and no one even gives a stuff about. Women get caught up on this stuff. It becomes a competition. Oh, my friend had those flowers. Or you go to a wedding 2 weeks before your wedding. Because, weddings happen in bunches. Everyone copies each other. There's always a first cab off the rank, and then men fall one after the other signing up to the deal because they don't want to have to deal with a woman complaining at home that, why did Jimmy apply to Martha? Not apply. Well, sort of applies, and it's obviously a job you don't want. Why did Jimmy propose to Martha? and you're not proposing to me. We've been together longer. You know, I want progress. They start carrying on. They start seeing it, and then they want it. So they all fall. And so you go to all these weddings, and one after the other, you see women comparing, looking, competing at each other with the different arrangements, the different additions to their weddings. It's all just one big competition, all one big psyop.
They cost $2,000 and are garbage 2 hours after you say, I do. I'd also like to remind everyone that common wisdom states an engagement ring should cost roughly 2 months' salary.
Who came up with that? That's the biggest scam ever. So I didn't fall for that, and I didn't pay a huge amount for engagement rings. I only paid, even it was too much at the time, a few $1,000, and I thought I got a flight, especially with the woman that I thought was going to be a good option for whatever reason. But I spent a few $1,000s. I've heard of guys spending tens of thousands of dollars because they've fallen into this category. I know it's not rare now for someone, you know, in a few months of salary is $20,000. And so they subscribe to that. I'll tell you a story quite a bit. There's this guy I used to know. I wouldn't say he's a friend of mine. He was Australian-born Chinese guy with an Australian-born Chinese girlfriend. He wanted to propose. He didn't come from an overly wealthy family. He was doing well for himself. Like his family came and provided him with all the opportunities to do well in life. But his family, they owned a small business, like a discount sort of $2 shop thing. Anyway, for whatever reason, he thought that he had to. I think obviously a cultural thing. I don't know much about Chinese culture. I think obviously it's very much underpinned by money and signs of wealth, as opposed to actual wealth. He went and bought his then girlfriend engagement ring, $26,000. I'll never forget it. He told me $26,000. He told me about this, and his guy I used to know through work, and he was just telling me about it. I thought, what an idiot! $26,000. Anyway, he comes back to me and he tells. I caught up with him about a week later. I said, "Oh yeah, how did it all go?" And I was still sort of half plugged in at the time. How'd their proposal go and all this, mate? And yeah, patting him on the back and all that. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, she didn't like the ring, and so I've had to go and order another one to be made, and she is going to help pick out the stones and the design." I said, all right, well, so you just do a swap. I said, they just took it back to them. He goes, oh, no, like she gets both the rings. He spent around about $50,000 on rings. This guy wasn't earning that much money. He was not from wealth, but he spent his savings on this because he thought that's what he had to do to have the woman. And he probably did have to do that to keep the woman. Absolute rort. I know I'm ranting today, guys. I know it's unstructured rant. Weddings are a load of bullshit. Nowadays, when someone says they're getting married, I don't even want to go to them. Because I know I saw all this fake rubbish. Overpriced, fake social ceremony that most people think to themselves, they don't even want to go there, but they have to go. People expect you to make a huge fuss. So I know a couple who got married recently. They're in their early 40s. And they're going on Bucks night, and she was having hens nights like she was 20. I was like, really? What are you doing? And this is second marriages for them both. So that's when I start questioning. People just don't learn. Don't learn. If you're going to do it again, and they spent all this money and wanted people to go to destinations, and I actually got invited to it. I didn't go. I said I wasn't going. But they had a destination in a different state and expected people midweek as well. They did a midweek wedding to try and save a bit of money. So you got to take time off work. And I find that just completely rude. If you want me to come to your wedding, make it as easy and cheap as me as possible to come. Otherwise, I'm not coming.
And let's not forget about your maid of honor and best man. We don't profit much on that one, outside of charging them an outrageous amount to rent an outfit worn by dozens of people before. Really, We just thought forcing you into picking your favorite friend would be a funny way to add stress to your wedding day. You literally have to decide which of your friends is best, then make them write a speech.
Even though this is only my 4th time talking in front of a group, I'm gonna tell a wildly inappropriate story about the groom. It's intensely private, but society has obligated me to reveal it on what is arguably the most important day of his life, in front of people who really aren't gonna find it charming. But don't worry, everyone. I'm drunk! Woo! Beep, 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 beep.
That's one thing as well. I'll talk about the overly eager, overly excited best man. We all know the guy. The guy who tries to get everyone to go over to Vegas for a bucks party because he wants to have that excuse to get away from his wife and kids. They want you to go to interstate. They want you to go up to Vegas. Thousands of dollars for one night. No thanks, mate. But people go and do it. But the guy gets overly eager. That's like his one real drive. It's his true calling in life. It's a great and high honour. That in itself is another side. Your best mate is there on your big day, making sure that you sign up to the worst deal ever. I didn't have a best man when I got married.
Add in a choreographed dance, thank you notes, and vows, and you'll soon see your wedding as that expensive party that requires homework. And don't forget, everyone knows you're going to have sex afterwards. They're all fine with it. There's no problem.
Yeah, good luck with it. A lot of people don't get action on their wedding night. I didn't. That should have been the biggest red flag ever. It's like, job done. Gotcha, you muppet. Sucked right in. I've spoken to a bunch of guys who said, no, they didn't. They're either too tired or the girlfriend was cranky and tired or my wife now is cranky, tired, etc.
I'm just pointing out that when anyone smiles at you at your wedding, they're thinking they're going to fuck later. Your grandma knows. She's lived a long, full life. You think she doesn't know what happens on your wedding
Grandma knows all about it. Grandma's done everything. Don't worry about that.
night, and therefore has probably at least briefly imagined the two of you fucking? Newsflash, she has. Respect the elderly. I'm Roger Horton, and with the power vested in me by the internet, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Fuck you, pay me.
Good. That is a good one. And they should have another bit at the end there with the wife's hand out. Because that happens anyway, whether guys realise it or not. But they should have it, okay, there's the way on the in. And what about the divorce area? The guy's just taking the money off you both ways. All right, guys, trying to have a bit of a laugh today with a little bit of serious undertone. But seriously, guys, if you're thinking about doing it, I wish you the best of luck. Godspeed to you, I guess. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.